On to style. 15% of your grade is going to be from style, and style is an elusive portion of the paper for many students. First of all, you want to have a variety of sentences in both construction, so some sentences will be shorter, some will be longer, and you want to think about how you're starting your sentences. If you're reading through the paper and every single sentence starts the same way, it's going to be very boring. It would be the equivalent of wearing the exact same thing to school every single day. There's no variation, there's no style. You want to make sure that there are sufficient transitions between and within paragraphs, so your ideas are not choppy, they flow smoothly from one point to the next, both within and between the paragraphs. Your diction or word choice should be varied. If you're repeating the same word over and over and over again, you want to make sure that you look out for that in the drafting and editing stage, and you use some good synonyms while you're putting together that final polished copy. Your quotes need to be gracefully integrated, so you should never have a quote that stands as a sentence on its own. You always want to set it up with something about what was going on in the text, or even integrate it into the same sentence as your claim or as your analysis. You want to make sure that you consider your audience when you decide on your tone. For a formal analytical paper, you shouldn't be using text message lingo. You shouldn't be using things that make it sound like this is a conversation between you and your friends and not an academic paper that you're turning in to your teacher. You want to make sure that you stay an active voice, not passive voice. Try to avoid words that suggest that you are uncertain. You want to make a strong argument and defend that argument and not flip-flop about whether or not you're right. Stay in the third person. This is not the time to put in first person I or second person you. And then make sure that when you use words, particularly if you are looking for a synonym or you're trying to vary your diction, you do not choose words that you don't quite understand. So if you're using words awkwardly, one of the most common things that people see written on their papers is AWK for awkward. That's when either you make up a word or you use a word that really doesn't fit well or doesn't mean what you think it means. So it might be similar to, but not exactly the right word, or it might be a word that's really archaic, like it's not used so much anymore, or it's not quite academic, or there's a better word that you could use to be more specific about what you mean. It's important here to think about vague language as well. So if you're using a lot of words like good, bad, thing, there's probably a more specific way that you could say those words.